Hi, this is Radha Agrawal with Daybreaker, and this is No Time to Be Timid.
Hey there, I'm Trisha Rose Burt, and I want to ask you some questions. What creative work are you called to do but are too afraid to try? Is there a change you want to see happen in your community, but you're waiting for someone else to step up and do it? Is fear of failure preventing you from starting new things that will make a difference to your life and to others? In this podcast, we look to artists to lead us and show us how they use creativity and courage to make changes in their lives and in the world. Pay close attention, because this is no time to be timid. Welcome to the show. We're so glad you're joining us. And if you're a new listener looking for some courage and inspiration, make sure to download the No Time to Be Timid Manifesto, which is the show's guiding principle. Just go to my website, trisharoseburt.com/manifesto to get your copy, then put it up where you can see it and be inspired every day. And if you're a longtime listener and you haven't downloaded yours yet, go do it so you can be inspired too. And speaking of inspiring, today's guest is that and more. Radha Agrawal is the co-founder, CEO, and chief community architect of Daybreaker, the global morning sober dance and wellness movement. Believe me, you have to be some kind of inspirational if you can get more than 500,000 people across 33 cities and 5 continents to get out of bed and start dancing at 6 o'clock in the morning, completely sober. And she's been doing it for more than 10 years now. And if you think sober means dull, check out Daybreaker's website or follow them on Instagram. It is wild. Radha's pretty much unstoppable. In 2020, she and her Daybreaker team toured with Oprah Winfrey on a 9-arena sold-out tour where Radha opened every show and led more than 150,000 people through a movement and dance experience with 30 musicians, dancers, and performers behind her. She authored the book Belong, which shares how she and her team built the Daybreaker community and how each of us can find our people and live a more connected life. And MTV named her one of 8 women who will change the world. And those are just a few of her accomplishments. Now, for those of you in more conventional occupations wondering how one ends up as a social entrepreneur on a mission to bring more joy and belonging to the world, you might be surprised to learn that Radha started out as an investment banker. And believe it or not, there's a much straighter line between where she started and where she is now than you might think. In this episode, Radha shares with us the importance of knowing the numbers and building a successful community or artistic enterprise, an intentional way to build our own communities, that dance is a powerful way to combat loneliness and promote well-being, and that our communities are the key to supporting our dreams. With her biggest Daybreaker tour coming up and other projects in the works, like her Belong Center, Radha is a very busy lady. She joined us with a sandwich in one hand and her toddler in the other, and we're so honored that she could make the time to join us. Hi, Radha. We're so glad you can join us today.
Hi, Trisha. Great to be here.
One of the joys of doing this podcast is I get to research people. In your case, I got to read your fabulous book, Belong. I know that it came out 2017, but to my listeners, if you haven't read the book, go get it. It's a really fabulous book. But what I loved about it is you have the whole journey that you've been on. So I have a question for you. What made you start in investment banking?
Great. I love this question. It's probably the most unlikely path for me, but I think it was honestly to prove to my Indian father that a communications major with a minor in film and business could get a job in investment banking. It also got me to New York City a city I want to live in, for since I was in college. I went to Cornell, and I
Mhm.
would come down to the city, and I just fell in love with the kind of the cultural wow of the place, and just its the freedom and expression of the city. And I've actually been here ever since. I moved here at 22, and it's been 23 years. It's been a 23-year love story.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Investment banking got me to New York, got me an apartment, got me moved in. It taught me about finance and not to be afraid of spreadsheets and to really learn, understand kind of the foundation and the kind of the building blocks of business.
It's interesting because I started out in business as well. And then I was in it for 15 years and thought, I need to get out of here. And I ran to art school. And then when I went to art school, they all said, you're going to be so glad you have this business background. And they're right. They were totally right. So do you see that, in what appears to be the most completely different thing right now, and that you're running a global dance movement, do you see, that investment banking experience kind of blend with what you're doing now?
Absolutely. I think artist community can sort of devalue the foundational sort of needs of how to actually scale and grow
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they'll start a community, they'll start an event, or they'll start a club and just be like, I want to do it and it's fun. And then very quickly it becomes exhausting because there's no sort of processes in place and there's
Yeah.
no back end systems that they've set up. And so I think that to have to build a movement that we did, it really did require organization to be in 33 cities around the world. You couldn't just do that in a way that was sort of half-ass. And I
Yeah.
think so often when I see community builders, that's the first thing they're like, they're passionate about a topic, they're passionate about dance, they're passionate about theater or whatever, and they just have no understanding or no desire to really get to know numbers and how to actually build the foundations of a community business.
I just think it's fantastic. You go to art school and they don't tell you the business side of it. And whether you're building a community or you're a solo entrepreneur, you got to know the numbers. You got to know how to do that. So kicking and screaming a lot of the time, but you got to know how to do it.
That's right. In fact, I just started this I call it the Belong Institute, and we're now teaching community builders how to build the community business of their dreams. And that's actually been really, really important to me is like how do we pass on to all these incredible community builders who are so excited to support their communities, but again get exhausted after a few events and then kind of begin petering out. And now you have the next batch and sort of this this tourniquet of never ending first time community builders
Yeah.
and who never really see things through. So yeah, I had my first, it was a 170 person cohort, and really, really cool to see sort of all the fear around it turn into, okay, now I get what I need to do. And it's really fun to be able to support that.
Yeah. It's sustainability. How do you keep it sustainable?
Exactly.
Before we get into that though, I have to go to the origin story because I love the story of your epiphany in your book and could relate on several levels. So I know you've told it before, but I would love for you to talk about that moment when you were like, I'm not leading a life of intention here at all. I
Yes.
would love to hear you tell that story.
I think all of us go through these moments of where do I belong? Who am I? Who are my people? And I think that we go through these phases in our lives. I actually identified 7 different phases in our life where we're moving through a transition, whether we're moving out of our house to college or graduating and getting
Yeah.
married and having kids and moving to neighborhoods. And there's these transitional moments in our lives. And for me, it was this moment. I'd graduated college, I was living in New York, and I woke up one day and I realized, whoa, I don't belong. Where are my people at? I've been hanging out in bars and drinking alcohol. I hate alcohol. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm hanging out with people that I met in the gym or here or there, but wasn't intentional about my community. And yet we are so intentional about our professional careers and there are romantic partners, right?
Mhm.
And so think about how many lists you make, like, oh, I want him to be this and that. And, I want my career to look like this. I want to make this much money, whatever. But when it comes to friendships, we're like, okay, great. Like the guy that I just happened to meet next to the coffee shop barista, whatever, it's like is now
Yeah.
my friend. And it's no wonder we feel so lonely. It's no wonder we feel so misunderstood And so that was this moment, this aha moment for me at 30, where I was going to my birthday. I was organizing my birthday party, and I was like, the people that are coming to my birthday, while I care for a few of them, most of them, I'm like, I don't really feel a deep connection to. I feel really lonely in this moment, this like moving from my 20s to my 30s, and I don't belong. And I'm not even excited to go to my own birthday. Like, this is crazy. And so that
Yeah.
was the moment that I realized, what am I doing? What am I prioritizing? And then sort of I looked at society, and it's like, wow, society prioritizes career and romantic partnership over friendship. And yet friendship and community is the bedrock, it's the foundation of the last, millennia of the human experience. But only in the sort of recent kind of 21st century world have we deprioritized community and started prioritizing me, like my own romance, my own career versus the joy of community. And so when I began prioritizing community first over career and romance, and realized, oh my gosh, my community is going to help me build the business of my dreams. Oh wait,
Yeah.
my community is going to help me find the person of my dreams. And when I began sort of just completely shifting my priorities, that's when my entire life changed for the better. And yeah, and that's sort of why I wrote the book. I was like, wow, if I can help other people recognize that the human experience is best experienced in community, and it's those who love us the most who will actually help us support our biggest dreams. That return to those values, I think, is what we need the most right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I just love the moment when you were just saying, you were basically like in a bar looking around going, why am I even here? all
Yeah.
these people, all these people are just stuck in their phone or making out with people they just met or way too dry. I mean, I was like, I've been in those places before. Like I've just gotten caught up in something and it wasn't something I chose. Someone else chose this for me. And this isn't feeding what I'm supposed to be doing. And I think there's a line in your book when you said you were at the bar and you just ran home. Like,
Sometimes you just gotta go. And I do think that sometimes it's easier to stay than it is to go. And, old me stayed for too long. And I'm really proud of myself that I was like, no, enough is enough. And let me go home and sort of sit down with myself and write down. I opened my journal, never done an exercise like this before, but like I wrote down 3 columns of what are the qualities I'm looking for in a friend. So column one was, what are the qualities I'm looking for in a friend? Column two is, what are the qualities I don't want in a friend?
yeah, yeah.
And column three was, what are the qualities that I need to embody in order to attract the friends that will align with my values and my interests, right? And so it was that beginning journey of just sort of like, what do I need? What do I want? What do I don't want? How can I show up better?
Yeah.
That was the sort of beginning of this journey of intentional community building, which changed my life.
When I was growing up, I never really felt like I fit in. Like, I was teased a lot. I just was always felt like I was kind of on the outside looking in. I never dated anybody. I mean, all that kind of stuff. Did you fit in? Like, were you part of the cool kids or were you outside looking in? Like right now, you look like a cool kid, but I mean, were you always that way? Or, did you always feel like you belonged or when you were, younger and shaping and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think being half Japanese, half Indian, living in French Montreal, Canada, I think that, when you're Indian Japanese, you have inevitably a unibrow and a mustache when you're like 14. So it's not cute, let me tell you. Fortunately, it hasn't grown back. But yeah, I think that I was such a jock. I was at the soccer fields, all my life. I think I didn't even really know when I was a younger kid. I was just a sporty kid, and I was with my twin sister. I had a roommate with my twin sister.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I had a buddy. But no, societally, I always felt this existential kind of loneliness. Like,
Yeah.
I don't belong in any of these groups and communities, like ethnically, culturally. I look different than the average French Canadian kid, being half Japanese, half Indian, eating samosas for lunch instead of like a sandwich,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And you have like chickpea curry and like sushi rolls, which is dope now. It's normal now. But back then, like, the kids are like, what are you eating? Like, that's so gross.
Why don't you have
Um,
it on white bread?
yeah, totally. My parents taught me to create my own community, like, in the place where I didn't fit in, to create my own community. My parents actually launched the Gifted Children Summer Camp, also not cool. They created a community for themselves. Like, their families were in India and Japan, respectively. And so they were adopted by the Portuguese community. We were adopted by the Portuguese community in Montreal, where
Wow.
we were raised. So we would go to the Portuguese cookouts, and we hung out with the Portuguese families, and we went to Hindi school every Sunday and Japanese school every Saturday. So we had all these different kind of communities that we grew up with, and I played soccer too. So I would say that I was part of many communities, but never really a part of a intentional community that really aligned with who I
Yeah.
was. I think I was still discovering who I was. So I sort of just fell in. I was just in all these communities because of my family, because of my interests. But I think, we don't even know what our values are at that
Yeah.
time. So we're just
Yeah.
going with the flow. Yeah, and I never even thought of boys. I never even smooched a boy until I was 17 years old. I just was
Yeah.
so focused on sports and school. So it was really when I went to college, I really kind of started focusing on social connection. I joined a sorority. I was recruited to play soccer at Cornell. I kind of decided to be social chair of the sorority because I was like coming from Canada. I just didn't have any understanding of Greek life in America. So my roommate had a George Bush framed photo in her room in my sorority. And I literally was like, okay, like this is America, like a
Yeah.
president in our sorority dorm room house. It was just like, I could tell you a lot of stories, but it was a wild experience of the whiplash of moving from Canada to United States and moving away from my family and into this sort of American culture where, I'd be down the hall meeting another Asian girl. I'm like, oh my God, where are you from? And she's like, I'm from Madison, Wisconsin. And I was like, oh, but like, where are your parents from? And she's like, oh, well, they're Chinese, but I'm American from Wisconsin, And in Canada, we're just so proud to be ethnically diverse. There's
Oh,
a
yeah.
there's a saying, Canada is a mosaic of cultures and America's a melting pot. I was like, oh, well, my mom's from Japan and my dad's from India. And I was very excited to share about my culture. But I'm American now. I'm a very proud American. But I talk about this a lot because I really encourage my community to get to know their lineage. Like, where are you
Yeah.
from? Like, who are
Yeah.
you? Like, where's your DNA from? And how can you more deeply connect with your roots?
We'll get back to the second half of our conversation in a moment, but right now I want to tell you about our sponsor, Interrobang Books, a Dallas-based independent bookstore with a terrific online collection. At Interrobang, their dedicated staff of book enthusiasts will guide you on your search for knowledge and the excitement of discovery. Shop their curated collection online at interrobangbooks.com. That's Interrobang, INTERABANG books.com. It's kind of interesting as you talk. It's like you were just sort of born to do what you're doing right now. I mean, all of these experiences just led you to this place, right? It's just really
Yeah,
fascinating.
I really do feel like a citizen of the world. I really do feel like I don't belong anywhere and I belong everywhere. And so I
Yeah.
really want to build a world where everyone belongs.
Okay. So you wake up one morning and you say, oh, I know. I'll have a sober event at a coffee shop in Manhattan. Like, how did you go, oh, this is what I should do now? Walk me through that, please.
Yeah, so this is 11 years ago. I was 34. I think for me, I was just sort of over nightlife. And I actually was an investor in a nightclub, like the number one nightclub in the world, they said, by the dance club magazines. And I would go there, like thinking I was cool and bringing my friends and it was just everyone on drugs and everyone on some new designer drug and everyone on their phones and spilt drinks everywhere. And it was like a zombie apocalypse. Like no one was actually listening to the music. No one was dancing. It was just sort of like swaying like zombies. Like no one was all in like dancing like with their freak flags. And I just was like, what is happening to culture? Like what is happening to humans? And so me and a buddy, we were having falafels. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning. I had like makeup running down my face, and it was just like not a cute scene again. And we were at a falafel joint on Bedford in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and we were just talking. We're like, man, like I'm exhausted. I'm 30. I don't want to stay out till 4 o'clock in the morning anymore. Like, what are we doing? And he was like, yeah, me too. And we're like, okay, well, what if you think people be down to wake up in the morning? Like, you think people be down to like, dance like sober? You think people be down to like, connect on a weekday morning before going to work? Like, why not? Like, let's try this social experiment. Let's call it an art project and let's call it a social experiment. Let's call it Daybreaker. Let's break the day with energy and intention and let's do it in a way that keeps all the mystique and the mischief and the dressing up and the fun of nightlife, but also kind of also brings in the world of wellness. And back in 2013, yoga was popping off and everything
Yeah.
was popping off. And so it was like, what if we merged the worlds of nightlife with the world of wellness? And no one had done that yet. And so we launched Daybreaker in 2013. It was the first snowfall in New York City. I'll never forget. And I was like, I woke up, it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, and the party started at 6 a.m. on a Wednesday. It was a Thursday or something like that. And I was like, no one's coming. It's snowing. Can you imagine? Like, no one is going to show up for a 6 a.m. dance party in Union Square in the first snowfall day in December. So I was prepared to just like put out the DJ equipment, have my friends come and just help us set up. And we had our tote bags and we had like the stickers and we had the stamps and it was like so cute. And it was like 5:50 and like there was like three people in the place and we're like, oh God, this is a disaster. And then all of a sudden, like 6 a.m. sharp, like all of a sudden there was like, teams of people that started coming in, and all of a sudden we had 180 people show up to the first one.
How'd you get the word out?
My partner Matt and I, we put together an Excel spreadsheet, as former investment bankers would do, and we put together an Excel spreadsheet. And we wrote down literally 300 names of what I call in my book, if you've read it, FYFs, which
Yes.
are fuck yeah friends,
Yeah.
F yeah friends. And the idea of like who would be an F yes to waking up at 6 a.m. to go dance sober on a weekday morning? Like, there's not that many people, but like we said, maybe these 300 friends that like friends of friends or friends of friends that we both knew, and we would ask other friends to give us names of friends that would be down for this type of weird art project. And so we put this list together over 2 days and invited 300 people from this list, and 180 of those 300 showed up.
It's
So I really
just
say
so
that
fabulous.
that intentionality of taking the time to put that first list together was, I really believe, the beginning of this movement. And I think so often people who put events together will just invite anybody and everybody to come, hoping that they can just fill the seats of the room. But that's really not the strategy. I'd rather have less people, but the right people. And when
Mhm.
the right people come to the space, then all of a sudden the centrifuge of joy happens, and then they have such a good time, they want to invite their friend to the next one. So sure enough, after the first one, it was so juicy, it was so joyful, it felt so good in there, that the second one, we had 300 people that came to the second one because
Yeah.
people brought a friend. And then the third one, we had like 450 people come to the third one. And then one of those people had come to the first three, said, I'm moving to San Francisco. Can I bring this to San Francisco? And I was like, oh, wow. Okay, let me go think about it. So I went home that night, and over the weekend, I wrote a playbook on how to bring this vibe to San Francisco, or what is the Daybreaker vibe? So what is the sound like? What is the music like? We have a mandatory horn section at every event. We have, we have confetti blasters, we have props, we have yeah, we replaced the mean bouncer with a hugging committee. We have green juice and coffee and tea instead of alcohol. So I put this playbook together and then trained him on the playbook. And then our first event in San Francisco had 400 people. It was a sold out event in San Francisco. I'm an entrepreneur, a longtime entrepreneur, and everything I did was a slog. It was hard, hard, hard. But this one was so ready for its time.
Yeah.
People wanted to dance and party, but people also wanted to be healthy. It was just like kind of the right moment. So Daybreaker is 75% women
Oh,
and
okay.
25% smart men, I always say. Um, because of that energetic difference. So 60, 70% of nightlife is men. 75% of morning life, Daybreaker, is women. So think about just energetics of nightlife. It's masculine, it's testosterone, it's
Yes,
heavy,
yes.
it's like predatory. Whereas morning dance, it's daylight, it's feminine, it's light, it's fairy, it's new. You just came out of your bed. Nightlife, it's like multiple energetics because you might have been stressed at the office, you might have been yelled at by your boss, might have had a fight with someone, so you're like medicating and drinking coffee to stay awake. So the energetics of nightlife are very masculine, just very all over the place. The energetics of the morning are new, the feminine, they're joyful. So I think all of that we learned over the years that wow, that's what took it to wildfire. It just felt so good in there. It felt so clean. It felt so safe. It felt so playful. It felt so healthy. And I think people just wanted to be part of that.
Well, and I love the idea that you're reinventing the word sober. I mean, I come from a culture in the South that drinks a great deal. And if you were going to go to a party that where there wasn't an open bar, people would go, "Oh God, this is going to be such a drag. How can we get out of here?" Right? And so if you just redefine how what a sober event can be, I mean, it's huge.
Thank you.
The world is so geared to alcohol. And so to
That's right.
have an option that is that joyful, that creative, I encourage all of my listeners to go follow her on Daybreaker on Instagram, and you will be going, like, what? Like, this is happening in the morning? Like, what? It's just so important for so many reasons because I think a
Thank
lot
you,
of
Chris.
people ask the question, oh, wait, can you have any fun if there's no alcohol? And you look at this and you go, yeah.
I think one of the bigger also keys to Daybreaker is that we are an intergenerational community as well. So because it's a sober community, the intergenerational aspect of it has been so epic because you have little kids coming. We had Jane Goodall coming with her friends, right? And so it's like you have the spectrum of humans coming to our events because everybody wants to party. It doesn't matter how old we are. And
Yeah.
yet when you go to nightlife, I feel so old when I go to a club,
Yeah.
right? Because it's so welcoming, because it's so open, because it's so sober. And this is something I've learned over the years, researching communities in general. But intergenerational community inspires the most belonging, inspires the most joy because there's less comparison. It's not like
Yeah.
comparing and despairing, right? If someone's
Hmm.
older than you, younger than if someone's younger than you, you're mentoring them. If someone's older than you, you're learning from them. And so there's no comparison experience. And
Yeah.
so and
Yeah.
so our community, it's so special because of that. So if no one's like, oh my God, she's whatever than me. She's a better dancer than me because it's everybody and everybody involved.
So, my question for you is I know you have two tours. One is a peace tour and one is a purple tour. And I want you to talk about both of them if you can.
Absolutely. So basically, so essentially at the end of last year, we always set the tours and the themes for the tour at toward the fourth quarter of the previous year. And obviously, what we had seen, in 2023 is
Hmm.
incredible devastation with, the Russia-Ukraine war and of course, the October 7th
Hmm.
Israel-Palestine experience. And so we just said, like, what is happening? Like, what is going on with the world? Like, where have we gone wrong here? And so let's make the first tour's theme about peace. Let's dance for peace. Let's share peace. Let's all dress in white and glitter and let's really be a stand for joyful activism. Let's be a stand for healing through a centrifuge of joy and dance and happiness. And dance is truly the most healing
Yeah.
technology and modality, right? To alchemize and compost any pain. Like you dance and all of a sudden it's like it's now no longer in your body and you're good again. And if you dance in a collective experience, what's happening? You have mirror neurons. You see someone else who might be, you know, I don't know, like 20 years older than you know, 10 times more overweight than you, whatever, having the time of their life. And then you ask yourself, like, what am I upset about? And all of a sudden you're like, wait, and you compost your own sadness and your own stories, and you realize, wait, you know, life is good, life is okay,
Yeah.
life is blessed. And so the dance floor is such a great place to rediscover your joy, you know, sort of through witnessing other people.
Yeah.
And and so the Peace Tour was really about that, and we're still on the Peace Tour right now. And then we said the second half of the season, you know, looking at the elections and how, of course, you know, sort of divisive it is, and how filled with anger and hate and just, you know, kind of superlatives on both sides. You know, we just said, listen, we're one team, one dream. Let's do this. Let's call this tour the Purple Tour this fall, and let's throw dance parties in every swing state during the elections and really reignite civic engagement through dance and celebration, rather than what the current voting experience is, which is like going to the DMV.
Yeah.
You know,
On a
so
good
so it's
day.
like on a good day, right? Like, or you have headphones on, no one talks to each other, and you're just kind of like waiting in line, waiting for your turn to vote. And this whole idea is like, hey guys, like, let's make voting a party. Let's make it something that you're excited about. Let's bring gold stars to bring to the line of the voting station, so you can like give the gold stars to everyone in line, or let's bring cookies to share, or let's bring whatever coolers of orange juice, or whatever it is, to make civic engagement, the voting experience, communal, celebratory, and something to be really proud of.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
that's really what this Purple Tour is about. And we partnered with an amazing voter organization to get out the vote. And we are going on the biggest tour in Daybreaker history. It's like 50 events this fall.
Wow. Wow, that
Yeah.
is fantastic. In the show notes will be how to get in touch with, all the Daybreaker information, all of that as well.
And most of the fall events will be free, by the
Oh,
way.
fantastic. Tell us quickly about the Belong Center and what you're trying to do there, which seems like just such a natural extension from Daybreaker to go to the Belong Center.
Yeah, so during COVID, you know, we obviously saw that there's a massive exponential scaling of suicide and opioid overdoses and violence and loneliness and anxiety and depression, from social distancing. And we realized, wow, so much of the world of supporting loneliness is pathologizing loneliness. Something's wrong with you. Something is sad about you. Let me talk about your feelings, rather than tackle the loneliness epidemic through joy again,
Yeah.
through community, through connection, through play, through you know, through circling up together. And so, you know, looking at all the solutions that have been out there, and God bless all the solutions that are out there to support ending loneliness. I didn't find, you know, any of them to be magnetizing or exciting to want to go to. And so, you know, we begin asking ourselves, like, what is our zone of genius? Like, our zone of genius is gathering humans,
Yeah.
is making humans come together in a way that's fun. But not everybody might want to dance at 6 a.m. You know, not everybody is a dancer necessarily, though I think everyone should be. Um, but but the idea for Belong Center is, you know, let's create a nonprofit, an organization that is really about gathering people in a 2.0 way, like sort of the community center 2.0. You know, bring back the block party. We're launching a 1,000 block party challenge very soon to bring back the block party to America. We're launching our Belong Circles program, which is, you know, sort of in 100 locations, 50 states, all 50 states across the country.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And basically these circles are like, if you moved to a new city, if you just got divorced, if you're lonely, if you know, if you want to meet new people, you come to this Belong Circle, and we'll teach you how to make friends, how to rupture and repair, create your first event, to host your first dinner party, like all the different things to make friends, where you live. And we match make you to values aligned communities. That's the concept of Belong Center. And then we have these Belong
I
benches.
was going to say, please talk about the benches. This is fantastic.
Yes. So we're putting yellow benches all over the country. Everyone listening, I'd love you to sponsor a bench if you can. But these benches are essentially totems for, hey, sit down and meet someone. Sit down on this yellow bench and make a new friend, connect with someone. We're putting a QR code at the end of the bench where you can QR scan it. And then we'll give you, 20 questions to fall in love, like 10 questions to make a new friend. Here's a music playlist that you can listen to with someone or alone to help you feel a sense of belonging. Here's a sound of belonging. Here's
Oh, great.
videos that you can watch together around how to make friends or how to mediate a struggle in a friendship. So yeah, we're really excited. So these benches are going to go up in parks, outside offices, and museums, and in playgrounds, and everywhere in between. We're putting one in a refugee camp in Kenya right now as well, and the whole idea is to really have these permanent reminders that cities get excited about. Because every city that I speak to, every city, leader, mayor, person wants to help make their city a city that's less lonely. And
Yeah.
so we hope that these benches are a totem to begin doing that, and our belong centers and our programs support in that as well.
Just fantastic. Okay, I have one question for you. The name of this podcast is No Time to Be Timid. So, where do you need courage right now?
I need courage. I think there's the saying, the tall poppy gets cut down. So if the if one poppy grows taller than the other poppies,
Hmm.
the tall poppy gets cut down. And I think
Yeah.
the courage for me is, how to step more into leadership roles, knowing like an even bigger, deeper, leadership role, whether it's in the elections, whether it's whatever it is, knowing that taking on more leadership is taking on more haters
Mm.
or more people who want to cut you down. And I think that's the courageous moment right now is,
Yeah.
how to push through, those who want to see you fail, even if you know them very well. And so I think that's really what I need more courage with is just stepping forward into those spaces, knowing that that's going to garner more positive and more negative stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's the dark and the light. But you are shedding so much light in this world, Radha. We are just so excited that you came by and saw us on the show. We're just delighted that you're here. Thank you. And just blessings on all the work that you're doing.
Thank you, Trisha. Appreciate you and your work too.
I don't know about you, but I feel like dancing and spreading some joy. Radha's energy and passion are contagious, and she made me think of some questions. First, are you paying attention to your numbers? Is your creative enterprise sustainable? Or are you in danger of wearing out before your dream is realized? Second, how intentional are you in building your community? Are you surrounding yourself with people who can help you support your dreams? And third, and probably most important, when was the last time you danced? To learn more about Radha and her work, go to her website, radhaagrawal.com. That's spelled RadhaAgrawal. To check out Daybreaker's upcoming tours, go to daybreaker.com and follow Daybreaker on Instagram at DYBRKR. And make sure to check out the Belong Center at belongcenter.org. If you're listening to this podcast, it's because you care about creativity and courage too, and believe like I do that this is no time to be timid. This year, I'm taking the No Time to Be Timid message on the road, and maybe your part of the world needs to hear it. If you're looking to awaken boldness and creativity in your company or organization, I'd love to come speak to you. Let's have a conversation. Please reach out to me at booking@trisharoseburt.com. Join us for our next episode when our guest will be Nora Pfeiffer, a writer, director, producer, and actor in both theater and film. She's the co-founder of Firelight Theater Workshop, currently in its 7th season, and she recently wrote, produced, directed, and acted in her debut feature film, Another Happy Day, a postpartum depression comedy that premiered at the Vail Film Festival. And somehow she manages to do all this while raising 2 children. You don't want to miss this episode. In fact, you don't want to miss any episode this season, so make sure to subscribe. And if you have any thoughts about the show, we'd love to hear from you. So please reach out at podcast@TrishaRoseBurt.com. Remember, this is no time to be timid. No Time to Be Timid is written and produced by me, Trisha Rose Burt. Our episodes are produced and scored by Adam Arnone of Echo Finch. And our theme music is Twists and Turns by the Paul Dunley Group. If you like what you hear, please spread the word, subscribe to the show, and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. No Time to Be Timid is a presentation of I Will Be Good Productions.